The letter N in Be Nice stands for noticing when someone or you is thinking, acting, or feeling differently than when they are mentally well or happy. And the way that this has changed my life is back in sophomore year, I started noticing that I was going through signs of depression and anxiety. And that is when I actually decided that I was going to get help, because I was dealing with all these thoughts and all these feelings by myself for years. So the first thing I did was I went to Mr. Campstra, and we just talked for a while, and we figured out what I wanted and needed in order to feel better. And I slowly went through with my parents and my friends how I was feeling and what I needed, so they would start to notice more and more when I wasn't feeling good, so I can get help and start to heal better. And slowly I started to feel more of wanting to be here, and I started to feel more like happy in the life and enjoying the life that I had. Be Nice is all for trying to notice and learn how to notice signs of depression, so you can notice when your friends, your sibling, your possibly your classmate or yourself is not feeling or acting or thinking the same as they are when they are mentally well, and try to get it so we can get back to you feeling happy and mentally well all the time.
For a lot of people, being included and feeling like they're part of something is so important. In some cases, the mere gesture of an invitation is just as, if not more, important than an actual plan. As someone who's been the new kid twice now, I know what it feels like to not feel a part of a group or a part of something, and how hard it is to reach out to others. When I was a freshman, I went to my very first football game, and I didn't know too many people yet, so I just was walking around, watching the game. If I did see someone I knew, I talked to them a little bit, but most of the people I knew had their own group of friends, and I didn't want to intrude. Then, when I was watching the game and standing by myself on the bleachers, one of my classmates saw me and invited me to stand with her and her friend. I'm not gonna lie, I was in disbelief and maybe even confusion, but my face lit up and I was so excited, and that just made my entire night. That gesture may have been seemingly small and she might not even remember it, but I do. You too can make someone else's day just by reaching out or checking in. An invitation could be just a small conversation, or a proposal to sit with someone at lunch, or an actual hangout. That person might be unavailable or just might say no, but you saw them and that could put a smile on their face. That could be the difference between them having a good and bad day. When it comes to helping others, there is no just. Every little thing you do is enough for someone out there who needs your support.
Hi, I want to briefly go over the Greek myth of Sisyphus, just because it has some relevance to what I want to talk about. Sisyphus was a king who tricked the gods a handful of times, and more importantly, he cheated death 3 times. When he finally did die, Hades had a punishment for him. His punishment was that he had to push a boulder up a hill, just to have it roll all the way back down so that he could do it again. And he had to do that for eternity. Now, that's kind of depressing, and understandably so. But I bring it up because in some ways it's an analogy for everyday life. It's repetitive and purposeless. And at least in Sisyphus' case, he doesn't really have a whole lot of freedom. But I don't think it has to be depressing. What if I were to tell you that Sisyphus was a spiteful person? He didn't want the gods to have their way. So he took his punishment and he turned it into a challenge. He doesn't like pushing the boulder up the hill. It isn't fun. Sometimes he trips and hurts himself. But he also reminds himself every time he wants to quit that he's done it before and he can do it again. And when he gets to the top, he takes a deep breath and he feels pride. He feels a sense of accomplishment. In a sense, he creates his own freedom and he creates his own purpose. He has to push the boulder up the hill. He's going to be there forever. And in our case, we have one life, we have to live it, and one day we are going to die. So why spend our time being miserable? And if you were to ask me what the purpose of life is, or if there is a higher meaning to our existence, I wouldn't have an answer. I don't know if there is an answer, but I also don't think it matters. If ultimately life is pointless, then it's our job to give it meaning. It's our job to give life value. If you were to ask me what the purpose of life is, I would ask you a more important question. What do you want your purpose to be? Because there is no answer to what the meaning of life is that applies to everyone. Your purpose can be something as simple and as small as graduating high school. Having a purpose makes all the experiences you have valuable. For me, every failure I have is a lesson to be learned. Every inconvenience I encounter, I learn to tolerate. Every struggle I survive through teaches me that I'm stronger than I thought I was. And when I finally reach my goal, I'll be ready for the next one. Every bad thing that happens to you just makes the good things that you experience that much more valuable, and as something to be cherished. Life is all about the tiny joys. So set a goal for yourself. Create your own freedom. Make your own purpose. Decide for yourself who you want to be, where you want to go, and what you want to do. My challenge to you is to push your boulder. And remember that the hardest thing you will ever do is get out of bed in the morning.
Empowerment. It's a strong and vital part of helping with a person's mental health. This doesn't just mean uplifting or supporting a friend or peer, it also means showing your self-support and taking care of yourself. A big impact someone had on me is when a friend showed me how to be confident during a time where I couldn't see that I was good enough. This reached me in an inexplainable way, so always know that you are not alone and there's always people and resources around that can help you.